significant as a national security issue. That president doesn't make a bold, insane move like Joe Biden made this week, and we are seeing this unfold when it comes to Ukraine. It seems like they want to trap Donald Trump before he ever gets into office into having a never-ending war in Europe, and one that could certainly spread far and wide if we're not careful. And what Joe Biden and the Biden administration decided to do is to allow Ukraine to strike Russian territory with U.S.-provided missiles, and it could change the course of this war dramatically. And the problem is now Vladimir Putin is responding and threatening to use nuclear weapons if Ukraine fires American missiles into Russia. Now, unfortunately, what this has evolved into is a proxy war between the U.S. and Russia, and we're the ones providing the weaponry. While simultaneously, we're learning from Prime Minister Netanyahu that Lincoln, Tony Blinken, and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have been withholding aid and weaponry from Israel that was attacked, the worst terror attack in their history, and they're fighting a forefront war. They have ballistic missiles being fired out of a...
There's that call out we were waiting for.
You didn't do that. It's Rumble Studio. It's screwed up. It's been screwing up every stream lately. You didn't do that. It should have let you up. It wouldn't let you up. It's yeah. It had nothing to do with you, man.
Live view experience, Dan. Once again, are you okay after witnessing another Starship launch?
Yeah, totally fine. It's you guys have to be jealous. This is the only way to do this. This is fantastic. No, it was really cool to see it lift off 33 out of 33. Didn't go for the booster catch today. Initially, we were good, and then we tripped a commit criteria and did the offshore divert. So we went and did that water landing, as everybody saw. We'll dig into it a little bit more, but again, we've done it once. We've now done it twice. We're going to keep trying to do it, as this is just a core capability of Starship and what's going to make it so incredible. There's a lot left. We're just about almost 10
You were speaking on everywhere. When I do it through Rumble Studio, I broadcast to about 5 platforms. Rumble, YouTube, Twitch, DLive, and this one there. One other one. No, it wasn't you at all. It's been screwing up every day. Yeah, you too, man. Yeah, we'll get it to work. I figured you just didn't want to turn on your camera. That's fine if you didn't want to. It's funny, you got to give the permissions and stuff through the browser when you do it, but yeah. I had an issue. I was muted the whole time. I couldn't figure that out. It's Rumble Studio, though. It's a work in progress. It's free for premium creators, so there's a reason why it's free. Whatever, man.
Launch of rockets. Trump was there. Let's see. Did Trump say anything in the aftermath? We're living through and into such an interesting time. And
Actually, StreamYard has been worked a lot better for me. I just got tired of, because to do the things that I want to do, the multi-platform and stuff like that, it costs too much. They just raised the cost on it again recently. So I got to drive out to Green Springs, so you guys will be riding with me. Whoever hangs out, I guess. Shit, I forgot I had to stop and get it.
Case. The New York Times is posting about it. We got ABC News and more. And so we'll go through that and see what that story is. Is this a hacker or is this the FBI or the CIA? We've also got updates out of New York because Alvin Bragg is having a rough time. They submitted.
Yeah, StreamYard works the same way. I think it's using the StreamYard basic configuration, kind of like Kick is the other one I broadcast to. Kick and Twitch, they're about the same thing.
They're saying that they have won the Manhattan case because the prosecutors submitted this filing, which is basically admitting that they need a delay.
Hey, JC.
Delay is warranted in the sentencing. So is Trump going to be sentenced before the presidency, before he assumes office? Unlikely. This is a fun one because it also included Alvin Bragg was responding to Todd Blanche and Emil Bowe. This is a new letter that we haven't read yet. And Todd Blanche and Emil Bowe, you know where they're going, remember? So we'll read through and then we'll talk about the border because Trump confirmed for us on True Social that there is going to be a national emergency declared and military assets are going to be used to take care of this immigration problem. And Tom evening and explaining that when people like Massachusetts Governor Laura Healey and others like the mayor of Austin, when they cooperated with President Trump, well, Tom Homan has something to say about that. He's not real happy with that decision. He said maybe you guys should.
Yeah, if he's still streaming when I head home,
clips from him and
I'll
from
jump
the
in there.
Democrats saying that they are going to be defying the will of the American people, and we'll see what our new borders are.
Yeah, he'll be on most of the night.
And how he acts accordingly.
I think he's on
So we've got a
his
bunch
last
of good
leg
stuff
before
to my friends. Very glad
starts
and
heading back
grateful
toward
that
the
you're
house.
here and with us, and then we got to enjoy that blast off in 2 hours space together. That was a lot of fun. And in doing that, I wanted to make sure that I'm not racing to get that started. And so I was
Yeah, concrete spaghetti.
a little unprepared. You may have seen some of those tabs loading behind the background. Not my finest moment. No, we got there. All right. But we're going to keep our eye on what's happening there in SpaceX land, in outer space with ET and others. But we've got other business to attend to, so let's just get to it, shall we? Yes, we shall. All right, so let's start with Matt Gaetz, because we got new business here. The Gates file, allegedly hacked. This is a big one because the Republicans are trying to keep this sealed. The Democrats want it open. Now the New York Times, in conjunction with others like ABC News and the Daily Mail, are all reporting that somebody has accessed the file. Was it a hacker or was it just the regular old FBI?
It was leaked.
But here is what the story says. It says, the hacker is said to have gained access to the file with damaging testimony about Gates. Oh no! The computer file is said to contain testimony from the woman who said she had intercourse with Gates when she was 17. Oh no. Now, an unidentified hacker, we don't know who it is, it's mysterious, has gained, maybe it's 4chan, that one guy, access to a computer file shared in a secure link among lawyers whose clients have given damaging testimony. The former congressman, who is now the nominee to be the AG. The file is of 24 exhibits. It's said to include sworn testimony by a woman who said that she was 17, she said that she had intercourse with him, and corroborating testimony by a second woman who said that she witnessed the encounter. Right? Those are salacious allegations. And if those are true, and I want to be clear about that, that is if Trump actually stole classified documents and was using them for the purposes that they claimed he was using them for, then that would be a problem too, right? If there was actually a situation where Trump was believing that he legitimately lost the election and then was trying to steal an election, that would be a problem too. And bad things are bad. We have no problem saying that bad things are bad here. If that is true, that's a bad thing. We don't want an attorney general who's doing that, just like we don't want a president who's stealing documents, just like we don't want an insurrectionist president. But what the pattern has shown here is that allegations against Republicans are not true. and that they're not legitimate, and that they're not credible. And so why should we give this any credibility? Because we've seen a historic pattern where it's not true. It's fake propaganda BS because they don't like the candidate. Now, that information was downloaded by a person using the same name, using the name Altum Beasley on Monday. According to the person who was not authorized to speak publicly, a lawyer connected to the case sent an email to the address associated with Altum Beasley, only to be informed in an automated reply that the recipient does not exist. The material does not appear to have been made public by the hacker. Oh, good. The documents include Liz Cheney. The documents include information that is under seal with the Justice Department, which investigated Mr. Gates but did not file charges, and the House Committee on Ethics, which has completed its own inquiry into Gates. The ethics panel members are scheduled to meet on Wednesday, that's this week, to decide on whether to vote to release the material it has gathered. But the hacked trove of documents stems from an altogether different source, a civil suit being pursued by a friend of Mr. Gates, Christopher Dorwith, a businessman. Mr. Dorwith filed the suit against both women who say she had intercourse with Gates when she was a minor and
it's ridiculous. They should just drop it.
While ally of Gates, who is serving an 11-year prison sentence after pleading guilty to trafficking.
He can, even after a verdict, he can still dismiss it.
He was defamed by them, both of whom had told federal
he knows they're going to get blown up
and
and appeal because his daughter
drugs and openly did those things. Right?
Campaigned against
He's saying, how dare you say that happened in my place? In their defenses, lawyers for Greenberg and the woman have solicited sworn statements from others who say they were witnesses. They got 20
so many points of appeal on that case.
So he's basically a co-conspirator of Gates.
He's very busy today, yeah.
Suing them for making false allegations like that.
One of the people that worked for me in the office is on vacation this week in Hawaii, so. And then the other girl is she's been doing translating out on a job site, so she's only there for a couple hours. So basically running the whole office by myself.
As well as testimony from Michael Fisher, Mr. Gates' former campaign treasurer, who's also said
that too, the party. Illegally appointed.
It also contains very supportive.
He wasn't part of that case, though.
Showing who entered the property when the two women said the encounter with Gates occurred. The material taken is unredacted and includes the names and personal information of the witnesses, but is otherwise said to be more damaging to Gates than to his accusers, according to the person familiar with the hack. The hacker has not contacted the lawyers since Tuesday morning, and it was not clear what the motive the person might have. Yeah, unclear what it could be. So ABC News, they also came out, and their sources are reporting the same. It says documents, including unredacted depositions from key witnesses in the case, are believed to have been taken. Attorneys involved in the lawsuit, brought by a close friend of Gates, received an email last night, informing them that confidential documents had been downloaded by an unauthorized party. According to an email that ABC got, Gates is not a party to the lawsuit, although he was subpoenaed for testimony because he's mentioned in it. On Sunday, it was a share file link.
Odd looking cloud up there.
You have to add the email addresses, to the links. Don't just do a share all link. Containing 24 exhibits from the civil case was accessed by someone using the name Altam Beasley. Those involved in the case believe it's a pseudonym, and there's an investigation into the hack. Doesn't sound like it was that serious of a hack. Someone shared a link. What's your email? Please enter your email to access this file. Altum Beasley. Here you go, download it. Wow, hacker extraordinaire, man. He's good. Should be working with the CIA, I guess. The documents that were downloaded include unredacted depots saying that Gates had intercourse with her. Gates did not respond to her request for comments, and now the committee is obviously digging into it. Now, Gates used his adopted son's PayPal account, say 2 victims. 2 women interviewed by the House Ethics Committee about Gates testified that he paid them directly for intercourse. Gates shocked Congress in 2020 when he revealed he had an adopted son. He said he was dating Galban's sister and the boy's mother had recently died from cancer when they all moved in together. He did not formally adopt Nestor, but says our relationship as a family is defined by our love for each other, not by any paperwork. And Nestor Galban was only 12 when he came into the U.S. from Cuba. He lived with Gates for 4 years. He then lived with his biological father, and he's now a U.S. citizen. Right? Gates resigned from Congress, and now he's under investigation. So that's Gates and Galban, and that's Gates, Ginger, Nestor, Donald, and Matt Gates. I guess that's the group. All right. So, interesting times. This is Matt Gates' ex-girlfriend, May Mendez. So he adopted her brother. Okay. All right. So, anyways, Gates is under an investigation from everybody. Everybody wants to dig into it. Who knows what is happening with the son or the ex. But here's what Elon says. As for these accusations against him, I consider them worth less than nothing. Under our laws, a man is considered to be investigated and locked up, says Gunther. What's up, Gunther? Yeah, you're right about that. Elon says Matt Gates has 3 critical assets that are needed for the AG, all right? A big brain, a spine of steel, and an axe to grind. He is the Judge Dredd America needs to clean up a corrupt...
Not from the lake. I don't live close enough to the lake to get that kind of weather from it. And I'm west of. Actually, I'm closest to the lake when I'm out here in Green Springs. I'm actually pretty close to it. But where I'm at, I'm not very close. I mean, you can look up where I'm at in White House, Ohio. The weather generally is blowing south or east, or northeast. So.
All right, here is what CNN said.
Yeah, we do get fog from the Maumee River, but not that bad.
Depending on what happens, then of course it will be released to the other members that are going to at some point have a vote. So that's been my main point, is that you have to determine whether or not the cost of getting across the finish line is worth it, much less the possibility of
But if this nomination were to go down and he tried to install him via recess appointment, would that be okay with you?
Well, I think it'd be very difficult I just think it'd be unwise to do that if he can't get the votes of the majority party, which is his party.
Why? Politically?
And a key point there that Kevin Ritter opposes the idea of installing him via a recess appointment if Gates were to come down, if it can be rejected by the United States Senate. That's going to be a key point of contention if that's ultimately what happens here. But this all comes as Donald Trump himself is trying to pressure Republican senators to fall in line, believing that ultimately he can get them to fall their way. And here's another key point here. Now, there are 5 members on the House Ethics Committee, Republican members. The question is, will any one of them break ranks and side with Democrats to vote to release that report? We don't know that yet, but we do know that some of those House Republicans are blocking its release.
All right, Manu.
All right, so a lot of hemming and hawing there in the Senate. We're going to see a lot more of that. Trey Gowdy is back, and we had a follow-up on Trey Gowdy, and I think we'll clarify that today. But Trey Gowdy, who does not like Matt Gates at
There's no
all,
NFL tonight.
is now bringing on Karl Rove, who does not like Donald Trump at all, and they're having a little pity party on the Fox News.
This could be very harmful.
Well,
Tremendously gifted trial attorney, a proven prosecutor, somebody who managed to make law firm and who demonstrated legal ability. But no,
yeah, this whole area,
none of those
large portion of this area used to be a swamp. Actually, out by my house,
on the floor of the house,
used to be what they call the Black Swamp.
Pictures of his conquest to his fellow members. So if that's the best you can do, you're not going to get confirmed.
Okay, thank you for that, Carl. I don't think that's the best we can do, but thank you for your analysis. Now, earlier in the week, you may have heard your boy here do a little impersonation of Trey Gowdy, and you may recognize the voice as resembling Kermit the Frog, but we did do that. And a very nice person called E. Dantes on our locals asked a question. So, Rob, it seems like, very politely, so Rob, it seems kind of like you might not like Trey Gowdy based on the fact that you're mocking him relentlessly. What gives? And it was a great observation, and I was thinking about it, and I thought, yeah, what is it? Why don't you like him? What is your problem with him? Am I being overreactive? Am I being somebody who is not giving him a fair shake? And what I recalled at the time was just a lot of talking from him, and he was kind of, on Paul Ryan's team and on Mitt Romney's team, and then not really on Trump's team, and kind of an institutionalist. right, former prosecutor, just always kind of straddling both sides of the aisle. But I couldn't really think of anything that was specific. But then I came up with an example. I said, well, when I hear Trey, what he usually does is he comes out and he says that what he's about to say is going to be extremely provocative or very important. So, okay, I'm about to say something